I started doing all these celebrity interviews, cover stories for big magazines, and it was really fun. I mean, my husband works really hard. He, moves things. He makes big dining tables. They weigh a ton. I would go home and watch movies all day. He'd come home and say, "What'd you do all day?" I'd say, "Oh, I worked really hard." But I mean, that's my job, is that I watched movies. And so I went to do an interview with Sherilyn Fenn, who was the star of Twin Peaks. The whole crux of Twin Peaks was who killed Audrey, whatever her last name was. So I said to Sherilyn, let's go to a psychic and ask her. And it was so funny. I mean, the whole interview was so crazy and funny. And I realized that if I was going to really be successful at this, I had to have a gimmick. And the gimmick was that I would do things with people. I did tons of research before I interviewed Chris Walken, although I had met him many times, but I wanted this interview to be, I love him, and I wanted it to be special. So I know he's a great dancer. He dances in a lot of his movies. And so I thought it would really be funny to ask him to dance with me. So I went to his house to do the interview. So I said, would you dance with me? And he said, well, yeah, I'm sure I would. Okay. And so the interview went on for hours. He was showing me around, and his wife came home. His wife's a casting director. She was one of the casting directors on The Sopranos, Georgianne. Really wonderful woman. We're talking. And so I say, okay, you have to dance with me. So he puts on this music, and it's like a conga. And he goes, okay, grab onto my waist. And we just congaed to my car. It was just so funny. So I got to do some really fun things with people, and I got to travel around the world. So there was always that. I always used to say, I would be in the supermarket, and there'd be 3 magazines that I had the cover story about. But I always was more interested in my neighbors and my neighbors' kids and their dogs and what was going on in this town. I was a volunteer fireman for a long time. This has always been my life. That was my job, and it was a really cool job. I mean, it was the best, but I never confused the two.